Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're talking about Hikoki or Metabo HPT framing nailers. We're going to be talking about this one right here, which is the 21 degree 3.5 inch cordless brushless framing nailer. We're going to go over this tool top to bottom. Stick with us. Alright you guys, so this right here is the Metabo HPT, or otherwise known in other places, Hikoki 3.5 inch 21 degrees plastic strip collated framing nailer. The model number is NR1890DRS. Okay, so this right here is an 18 volt tool. Yes, I have a multi-volt battery on there because multi-volt batteries are backwards compatible with 18 volt tools, but we acquired it, and when we acquired it, it came we acquired it as a kit. So right now it comes with this 3 amp hour battery, which is a lot lighter, right? But we just decided to go ahead and use multi-volt batteries on here because we have a few of those. And this one right here, I believe, is a 2.5 amp hour multi-volt battery, but you know, an 18 volt tool becomes 5 amp hours. So this is one of the framing nailers we really enjoy using. We've had this for quite a bit. You know, we've dusted it off and all that kind of fun stuff for these reviews. But right now, these are really great deals. So let's go over, look at the marketing hype, and then we'll bring you in closer and take a better look at it. So this right here is the Metabo HPT NR1890DRS. It is on their cordless platform using their 18 volt cordless tools to provide you cordless freedom. It accepts round-headed 21 degree plastic collated framing nails from 2 inch to 3.5 inches in length. It has power to drive up to 400 nails per charge using the compact 3 amp hour battery we just talked about. It is covered by their standard warranty. Okay, it drives up to 400 nails like we just talked about. It doesn't tell you like how many what size nails or any of that, but it says about 400 nails. It's ideal for construction and framing. It has toolless depth adjustment. It has a pneumatic feel, which we're going to talk about in a second. Easy to switch from bump fire to sequential. It has 0 ramp up. It is brushless. It's covered by their limited lifetime tool warranty, 2-year lithium ion battery warranty, and 1-year warranty on the card. You know, that's interesting, mainly, or on the charger, mainly because, you know, the battery seems to be higher warranty than the charger, which kind of questions, you know, some of their charger, but you know, it just means that they have a better confidence in their battery platform. Anyways, when you buy it as a kit, which we did, and I remind you, this is something that we bought. It was not sponsored. Nobody sent this to us for free. We actually paid our own monies for this. It comes with the framing nailer, comes with the 3 amp hour compact battery, the charger, a bag, safety glasses, and a pivoting rafter hook. Okay, it does not include a no-mar tip, but you can go ahead and purchase a no-mar tip. The part number for that one, in case you did want to purchase it, is 373204. Okay. And like we showed you earlier, it is 18 volt tool, but it can work on multi-volt batteries. All right. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at this tool. This right here is the battery you get when you buy it as a kit. We did buy it as a kit, and this is what you get, is a 3 amp hour 18 volt battery from Metabo HPT. Looks like it's a single layer battery, charges pretty quick, seems to be generally reliable. We generally don't like to use that one too much because we just always have these on site because we're also using 36 volt tools, you know? So let's go ahead and look at it. So this right here is obviously the magazine. The magazine capacity, I believe, is around 47 nails. I generally have an issue with that, as I do with almost all of these tools, except for potentially the Milwaukee tool. We'll talk about that one later. But with these plastic strips that you always get, they usually almost always come in some variation from all different types of manufacturers. This one here is from dewalt, and this here holds about 25 nails, right? And even the grip right ones hold somewhere around 25 nails. But the way that they're set up, you can only fit one full strip in there, right? You could fit one full strip, then cut off pieces and put another one in there, but you know, you can't really get 2 in there. So the way that we really do is we just stick one, you know, we use it quite a bit, and then after we fire some, we'll go ahead and just grab another one before it runs empty. I will go ahead and tell you, when it gets down to about 4 or 5 nails, I think it's usually 5, but sometimes it'll feel like it's 4, it will do a dry fire lockout. So that even though there's 4 nails in there, you cannot fire it anymore. So if you think about it, it's really like 47 minus 4 nails, right? But I did want to point that out because usually when you are reloading, you will see about 4 nails in there and you take it out and you get some of that. So anyways, that's what's going on here. I'm not aware of any magazine capacity that you can increase. So this is the magazine that comes with it. This one right here, we've been using 3 8-inch nails, plastic collated. Haven't had any issues with the plastic jamming up or any of the nails jamming up, but it generally seems to work pretty well, okay? This right here is the loading mechanism. There's two ways to pull this out, right? You can either pull this lever right here back, right? Which pulls the pin or the lever mechanism down so that it pushes the nails forward, or you can just pull this back, you know, which keeps this mechanism forward, right? For whatever reason, if you were up here, right, it would just go all the way here without pushing the nails forward. Then in that case, you will have to pull this and pull it back so that the mechanism down there pushes the nails forward. So that's interesting there going on there. We will go ahead and remove this battery. This right here, like I said, is a BL36A18. So this right here is a 2.5 amp hour unit in 36 volts, but in 18 volt, it is really 5 amp hours, I think. I don't know, something like that. Anyways, let's move on here. So this right here, of this amp power tool, all this stuff here is black overmold. It's pretty rubberized. It feels pretty good. This one, I will tell you, once it gets a bunch of sawdust on there, it is really, really hard to clean off. This one took a while to get it cleaned off, but you know, it's not perfect yet. There's a little strip here just in case you forget what kind of nails you're using, or if you have a bunch of them, it's easy to tell it apart, or you just always keep a few nails in there. You can figure out which ones you are, but it will say 21 degrees plastic collated right there. This part right here is metal. This part in here is metal, but the bulk of this, the big chunk of this, seems to be plastic. There is little metal railing inserts in here that the head of the nails will slide on, so the plastic doesn't deteriorate too easily, okay? On this part right here, it is backwards compatible. You could take the Rafter hook off and put it on here. Go ahead and talk about the Rafter hook in a second. But this right here is a lock or unlock safety mechanism. So if you slide it forward, you can't pull the trigger. Slide it back, you can pull the trigger. We almost never use that. We just take the battery out or turn the power off, okay? All this stuff here, like we talked about, pretty standard Metabo HPT green plastic there. Not too much of an issue. On the back side, this is where the battery goes. This part right here is rubber overmolded. It does stick out a little bit so that when you do put the battery in there, that the battery fits in there pretty snug and it doesn't just jiggle around aimlessly, right? So that stuff actually works there pretty well. I'm glad that they did that, okay? Moving on to the other side around here, this is where you see the ginormous Rafter hook, all right? So check out this Rafter hook. It goes in all positions, right? Usually it just stays like this, or like this, or like this, or you can fold it around here. To me, I really do enjoy that they I really do like they put a really big Rafter hook on here, because it is really easy to put it on really big material, right? Like even 4x4s, you just bam, you just put it there. It works really well. Every once in a while, you'll find it getting in the way because it seems to be in the wrong spot, but it's easy to get out of the way by just, you know, moving it around pretty easily. So that is a really good Rafter hook they did put on there, okay? On this bottom part here, you know, this is where a lot of the mechanism or the motor parts and stuff like that is. This right here, pretty standard here. Not too much frills, you know, model numbers and stickers and emblems and stuff like that. This is the front part going in on here. It will tell you brushless is here, and it will also tell you that it's brushless right here on the top, okay? This framing nailer is an air spring nailer, which means that unlike the dewalt one reviewed in episode 1 of nailers that has a flywheel going, this one actually uses a canister of compressed air or nitrogen, depending on which way you want to look at it. But it pretty much has a pneumatic type action to it, right? So it compresses the nitrogen, and then when you release the trigger, bam, it opens it up and forces that firing pin down, or forces the nail down, if you want to look at it that way. So because of that, we really enjoy using this one, because as I did mention in the marketing hype, this one does have the pneumatic feel. So if you are coming from a cordless nail gun or a pneumatic air gun, right, a framing air powered nail gun, then you're gonna feel right at home with this, because it has the same type of feel, recoil action, almost the sound, even though it kind of makes a rebound sound, but you know, it seems to feel really at home and normal, and that works really well. With the dewalt one, you kind of get the spinning flywheel sound, and bam, it kind of hits it. It feels completely different as you would if you're using like a pneumatic nailer, but this one feels pretty much the same, okay? So not sure how well this is gonna pop up here, but we'll show you how quickly or how easy this goes. We'll try to put this in on here. Down here is the the control mechanism. So what I found out is that no matter which position you're in, whether you have it on bump fire or a single fire mode, every time you turn it on, it will start up in single fire mode. It will not stay in bump fire even if you turn it off in bump fire mode. So in order to power it on, in order to do anything, you need to hold this power button, right? for a couple seconds, and then the light will come on. And then right now, it will say, it won't tell you anything, but the LEDs on here, definitely won't come up very well with the lights on, will tell you that it is on, right? So if the LED on the right side here, blue, is solid, it is in single fire mode. And if the LED, if you hold this LED control mode button and it starts blinking blue, it means it's in bump fire mode. Okay, you can also press the red button battery here that kind of tells you how full the battery is and stuff like that, and we'll take it off here, put it back on, and it will come back on in single fire mode, no matter what side of mode you were on. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. I mean, sometimes it doesn't get too annoying. Every once in a while we'll be in bump fire, sometimes we'll be on single fire, but most of the time we seem to mainly be on bump fire mode. But you know, that's how well that stuff really works. All right, so keep going on the front. This part right here on the front is the depth guide adjustment, right? So if you wanted to force the nail down more, you just turn this knob right here to the right, or the nut, or the barrel nut to the right. If you want to force it, you know, less sunk, you just drip it over to the left, okay, or just turn it over to the left, and that's how that really works. Generally works really well. This nail gun we found to be pretty consistent, probably the most consistent out of all the other battery powered nail guns in the market. Not the specific model, but the specific brand is what we're talking about. The tip right here, it is, you know, pretty similar. It feels almost pretty similar to the Milwaukee nail gun, but it's not perfect by any means. Okay, I think the DeWalt one, it does seem a little bit better. I don't know if I have it here. Yep, we still have it here. Is a little bit more aggressive, as you can see right here. Kind of has this little piece here in the front here, whereas on the Hikoki or the Metabo, the front part is a little bit taller with the back part spikes, you know, a little bit protruded back in. So one thing I did find out about that is that, you know, when you are doing it at an angle like this, right, so it is a little bit more challenging. I'm just talking about minor nuances here to put it exactly where you want it, because sometimes you'll see it sliding, as you see right there, like that, right, without that that back part gripping. Whereas with the DeWalt, you know, it won't slide as easily. It'll slide, but not as easily, because these back teeth are engaging right there. So it's a minor nuance. Just wanted to point that out. You know, no biggie of a problem. It's not going to be a showstopper by any means in using or buying that gun, but you know, that's something that we did notice. Okay, so now everyone's going to be wondering, how powerful is it? How well does it work? We're going to go ahead and get into testing of it, but one thing we did not test, or do not test at least, with what do you call it, during the performance testing, is really how powerful it is in types of all different kinds of lumber here. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing is mostly framing, so we don't have all these hardwoods, you know, like oak and walnut and that kind of stuff in there. But we've been doing pretty much like residential framing and even some commercial framing, and in those applications we use LVLs, right? So framing lumber is pretty generally pretty easy to work with. Let's go ahead and test it with some LVLs here. So this is two LVLs we have right here. These are about 1.25 inches each, so if you stack them up, comes out to about 3.5 inches. We're gonna go ahead and try using this one with the multi-volt battery and 3-inch, I think it's like 16D framing nails. We'll go ahead and turn it on, right? Press the button, turn it on. It starts up in single fire mode. Here, let's go ahead and show you how well that works here, right? If I go here, drop it in one at a time, right? No problem. Drop another one. No problem. We'll drop another one here. No problem, right? So generally sticks up a little bit proud. So if you do that, you can, you know, just choose to move the depth sync adjustment over just a little bit here. So we spun it maybe 3 times. So try that again here. Right? It seems to be a lot more sunk. More sunk. And if you really want to overdrive it, well, you really shouldn't, but let's just say you want to drive it some more. We'll go ahead and put that there. Look at that, and it sinks all the way, okay? So that's how well that stuff really works. We'll go ahead and show you bump fire mode just a little bit here. Hold this button, it'll start blinking. When the LED starts blinking, bump fire. So that's how well that stuff really works. So without too much further ado, let's get into testing. All right, you guys, just go ahead and get those numbers, all right? So just in case you weren't sure, we'll go ahead and recap the test real quick. So what we did was we pretty much fire 45 nails, some in single fire mode, then we also fire some in bump fire mode, and then try to figure out how long it really takes, right? We always start with the full clip of a strip of nails. That way it factors in, you know, reload time and stuff like that. That way, you know, we figure out magazine capacity and how that stuff really factors in, okay? And just keep in mind, remember, not all these numbers are exactly scientific, and, you know, they don't always really matter, but at least gives you an idea in case you are just, you know, on the go, just firing a lot, how that stuff really works. So this Metabo NR1890DRS we used with this 5 amp hour battery on the single fire mode test. We fired 45 nails, 2 of them were proud, 43 were sunk, and there were 0 jams. It took roughly around 61.18 seconds, right? And then on bump fire mode, it left about 3 proud, 42 sunk, and 0 jams. Took about 40.27 seconds, all right? And on each of those tests, we did have to reload twice, meaning we had to use 3 strips of nails, even though we only really fired through 2 of them because of the 4 or 5 that are always left in there, right? So even with, actually, let's go ahead and come back to that. So the nail capacity on this one, I think it was somewhere around like 37 or 47 nails. We'll go ahead and throw it up. And then the max nail length it can fire is about 3.5 inches. And with the 5 amp hour multivolt battery, it weighs in right around 10.91 pounds, all right? So going back to the proud and sunken jam and stuff like that, what we're considering proud here is anything that sticks up enough that you need to use a hammer or some other way to get it down, okay? If you look at it, only 1 was really left like really proud. Other ones, you know, are probably good enough to get away with framing, but the way we kind of allegedly said proud was, you know, if you're putting flooring down or subfloor down, you need to put some flooring on top of it, it's going to cause a wobble. Yeah, that's going to be called proud. So just keep that in mind, all right? And we did circle back around, so the magazine capacity is about 37, okay? So let's go ahead and look at how that compares to the DCN21PL, the one that we ran in episode 1, okay? So compared to that one on single fire mode, this one was almost 2 times faster, even though it had to do 1 additional reload. And on bump fire mode, it was, you know, about 40.27 compared to 64.47. Even with 1 additional reload, it was faster, okay? So there is a big benefit to that, you know, compressed nitrogen canister type feel that you kind of going with it. Also, you don't have to wait for the flywheel to ramp up all the time, right? So we haven't had the warranty this one yet, but we also did not fire as many nails through this one as we did with the dewalt. So that's what's really going in on there, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and point this out. So this one comes with a 3 amp hour battery. We've obviously been using 5 amp hour multi-volt batteries. The only thing that really changes here is how quickly the canister is going to refill, or how many nails you can fire per second. So according to Metabo or Metabo HPT or Hikoki, you could fire roughly around 2 nails per second. So if you're just going production framing, bam, 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 it'll probably get you about 2-ish nails per second. But with the multi-volt battery, it'll let you get there. With the 3 amp hour battery, it may work very well up front, but, you know, just a little bit later, it probably won't let you get to that speed or whatnot. So just wanted to point that out, because what it's really doing is pulling the air canister pin up so that it can compress that. That's what the battery is really doing. The force of it going down is not necessarily as affected by the battery versus, you know, how many it's firing. So let's go ahead and point this, close the video out. What can we say? Obviously, this is a great tool. We really like using this tool. The main benefit of this tool, like I said, are 2 main things. 1 is the feel of the pneumatic feel, and 2 is you don't have that ramp up time of the flywheel, okay? So you don't have additional noise, and like I said, you get the feeling back. Kind of feels like pretty much what you would think, right? A lot of the stuff is toolless, right? The adjustment stuff is toolless. It does include 2 hex wrenches, 3mm and 4mm wrenches, and it, you know, weighs in right around 10 point something pounds with the 5 amp hour battery, okay? And it will get you allegedly with this 3 amp hour battery right around 400 nails. We don't really use it that far with this. We do use it with the 5 amp hour battery, and it seems like we can get through a good chunk of the box before that. So I would say the 400 nails seems, you know, pretty close to what you would think, but you know, we always have nails and batteries and stuff on hand, so that's not really too much of a problem for us, okay? You can service this if you wanted to. You can get like an accessory to go ahead and put more air into that piston canister type thing if you wanted to, but you do have to take this thing off and you do have to buy that, right? So this tool is lifetime warranted, so I'm hoping that if we ever get to that point, we can just warranty it and don't have to deal with it ourselves. The batteries are warranted enough, right? And the chargers, we have enough of them, right? So going back around to this is a great tool, and if you're in the market or if you're in an 18 volt platform or even the Metabo HPT platform or Hikoki, I would recommend you get this one, right? If you're in the multivolt platform, I would recommend you get the multivolt model because the multivolt model fires up to 3 nails per second allegedly, and it has the same type of feel. So this one right now you could get, I believe, as a kit for somewhere around $350, $370, which is a really good deal for a framing nailer considering you get it as a kit. And you can use the rebate to get another battery, right? So the framing nailer kit with the charger and another battery for $350, $370, that's a really great deal. So I would strongly recommend you get this. This one I would prefer we use this one way more preferred over the DeWalt and the Milwaukee one. So that's what we really have to say, okay? So other than that, that's all we got. Hope this video helped you guys. I'll provide you some information. If you're not on the Metabo HPT platform, and this is probably a really good reason to get into it. So otherwise, have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.